Good morning. For some reason, I'm meant to start over again. It's 10:52 on the clock. It just turned to 53, which is the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords, and they're both in the read today. And a turn for the better with the 10, and it was just 10 to 11 here. So the 10 of the turn for the better and the 11 of truth and balance, which is justice. So I was already finished the union read into the twin flame read, and I realized that my mic wasn't plugged in. So I'm starting this over for you, but obviously there's a reason for me to do that. And let's go ahead and take a deep breath first. Sending lots of love and blessings out to all of you. Okay, that was a message for you, I guess. Okay. So here is the main, the union read. Okay. We have the 4D, 5D, 6D. The left is the feminine, the right's the masculine. The center is the bridge between them. The incoming divine feminine, the outgoing divine masculine. The underlying energies, the twin flames, and then the closing energy over here. This is the twin flame read in front of you. And again, the SIRIAN Starseed deck. It's not the Celtic cross, it's a variation of that based on the energy flow as opposed to a cross. And then here is the full read. It's a 7-deck read in front of you. There's a lot of energy there. I have the main deck, which is the SIRIAN Starseed deck, as well as the Rider-Waite Mini, the Gilded Tarot, the Universal Golden Tarot, the Tarot of Sexual Magic, Romance Angels, the Numerology deck, and I pull energy cards at the end. So there's a lot of energy. If something doesn't resonate with you, don't worry, and don't force it to fit. Just if you want something more specific to you, you can always book a session, which my information is below, as well as on my website, twinflames3344.com. And I have a CD out there also called Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames by Evelyn Stainthorpe, if you want to check it out. The first 4 songs are very different energy than the second 7 songs, which were written on my twin flame journey. The first energy is around the Twin Towers time, and then the second 7 around the twin flame journey time. So we have the union read and the twin flame read here today. And I love that when I restarted, it started up with the Queen and Knight of Swords, because the Queen and Knight of Swords are in the read as the main energies, and so are the Queen and Knight of Cups. And then the King of Swords comes up before the read. Before we get to that, though, I want to thank you all for being here so much. Thank you. I appreciate you all so much. Make sure to comment and share your thoughts and the energies that you're picking up. It helps expand the energies that I'm putting out to you. And if you do like the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And here we have the union read here. So it was done right at 3 o'clock yesterday. Today's the 27th, or excuse me, yesterday was the 27th, which is the Ace of Wands. And the day added up to 36-9, which is a 3-6-9 of the Tesla energy, but also the 36 of the Atlas energy, the weight of the world, which is the 10 of Wands. So we had the 10 and the 1 of Wands yesterday. And then today we're in the 28th, which is the twin flame energy, the 2 Wands. And then the 37, which is the King of Cups, the unconditional love. So this beautiful energy today, the transition from the difficult energy and the inspiration, like letting go of the wounded warrior, the lack mentality, the victim mentality, and going into the unconditional love of today and the twin flames. At 3 o'clock, which is zeros, the human embodiment of Source, backing up the energy of the 3, which is the 3 of the Empress, of Gaia, of the Trinity, And remember the tri, ni, tie. The ni of the show of power and the ty is just thank you and gratitude. So tri, show of power, and gratitude. The union energy of the 4, 5, 6D for the current energies, the underlying energy was the Two of Wands or the twin flames. The central energy being the King of Wands or the shaman, and then the Two of Swords at the end, which is being in your knowing. And this card is very much floating on air. The twin flame, shamans, knowing. The incoming divine feminine was the Three of Pentacles, the Chariot, and the Tower. The co-creation of the journey suddenly, perhaps all of a sudden you feel like doing something, perhaps going on a journey, a surprising adventure perhaps, and a choice of path and or a choice of the twin flame path. The 4D is the Six of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, which is the divine feminine's heart, and the E-Tower, and then the Star. The divine feminine leading the way, perhaps for a group or 5 others, or on the journey. The divine masculine rock star, healing with music perhaps, or trying to get the divine feminine to move in his direction or do things his way, and bridge through the divine feminine's heart at the E-Tower, and the divine masculine setting up crystals, or lining the path, or taking the steps. The 5D here is the Page of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Four of Swords. The divine feminine excited, inspired, and the divine masculine resting on break, meditating or by the water in deep thought, or practicing connecting, or practicing manifesting. Bridging by the King of Wands, or the mastering of shamanism. He is the bridge between the divine feminine and the divine masculine's hearts, the King of Wands, or between their locations. So this could be a person or the energy of mastery regarding being your shaman. So at 349, which is the Empress and the Nine of Cups, the Get Your Wish card, we have the 6D. And remember yesterday that I told you that Sam the Illusionist, when channeling Metatron had said that when we manifest, it actually manifests instantly into the 6th dimension, and then it trickles down to the 4D, but that takes time, and depending on how complicated it is. So keep that in mind with the Eight of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, which is the divine masculine's heart in the Batcave, and then Justice. So manifesting a release of fears, anxieties, and any kind of imprisonment, the divine masculine, divine justice of truth and balance, and bridged by the divine masculine's heart in the 6th dimension. In the Batcave, mad manifest and working its way down to the 4D. So like I said, you manifested the divine masculine's heart in the 6D, which is now working its way down to the divine feminine's heart in the 4D and bridging with the shaman energy or the King of Wands. The divine feminine journey of excitement and release. The divine masculine rock star of Egypt and Atlantis. The remote viewer on break, meditating, resting, or vacation for justice, which is truth and balance. The bridge between them is the divine feminine's heart in the E-Tower, connecting with the King of Wands shaman, or the shaman energy, mastering, connecting with the divine masculine's heart in the Batcave in the 6th dimension. The outgoing divine masculine energy is the Four of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Wands. The grounding and integrating, the black sheep of the family, the stepbrother, like the stepsister in Cinderella, the stepbrother in the dungeon, let out only on special occasions, leaving the wounded warrior behind, that Atlas energy of 10 wands, leaving 9 wands behind, ending up with only the one flame, ascending to the light with flame in left hand, knowing and floating on air with peace of mind and clarity, because that Two of Swords is all about peace of mind, whether it's someone knowing and keeping to themselves just to stay balanced, or someone knowing and keeping to themselves to keep their energy clear so that they can keep peace of mind, or someone knowing and pretending not to know because they don't want to deal with the situation because they want to keep peace of mind and balance. So the number coming up from this read is the 60 of the Six of Swords, which is all about finding peace of mind. It's the movement of peace of mind as opposed to the Two of Swords, which is being in that peace of mind regarding needing more information or making decisions. The Six of Wands is the peaceful travels, the peaceful flow of the mind. And the horizontal pillars were coming up as 16, 4, and 40, which is the Tower, the Emperor, and the Page of Cups. The vertical pillars were coming up as 5, 14, 11, 4, 4, 10, and 12, which are the Hierophant, the Temperance, Justice, Perhaps the 44 is 2 Emperors, or the 4 of Cups, the grounding, integrating, mastering of love, especially receiving it. And then the Wheel of Fortune and the Hanged Man. So the message here was, suddenly the Emperor and the Page of Cups find peace. And there's been a theme this week about father and sons, especially, finding peace with each other. So whether they had an abusive relationship when they were young, and now they're finding peace, or they lost a parent and finding peace, or making peace with that. All of those kind of energies come up with the Emperor. This also can be the Emperor and his inner child, the Page of Cups, the innocent side of him. And then the vertical pillars, the message over here was the Hierophant and the Temperance, or the Patient Angel, the higher love. This also can be the 4 of Cups, of grounding, integrating, and the mastering of receiving of love. And the Justice and or Divorce could be here, along with 2 Emperors, destined to hang out and find peace, or grounding, integrating, the love offer, destined to find a new perspective and find peace that way, or peaceful travels. So then we get into the twin flame read here. I want to show you my my selenite egg. It has a really nice flow of light through it. Okay. Selenite is very cooling. If you have pain, it feels very nice on the spine. And we're all about the egg and birthing right now. And rebirth is the numerology card right here. So there's blue and pink coming up, which is blue is the throat chakra. And then the pink of compassion and that higher heart type of energy. So the twin flames here, the SIRIAN Starseed deck was cut and dealt at 4:15, which is the 4 of the Emperor, the 15 of the Devil or the Shadow. And at 4:31, which is the Emperor and the 31 of the 5 of Wands. Remember, the 5 of Wands is that conflict and energy, the conflict and battles, but also the playing and the sports and the acting. It's also the pursuit of happiness and the impossible dream. It just depends on your perspective. And remember the 5, because today's read is all about the number 5. All of the 5s are about anger and sadness, right? The 5 of Wands and the 5 of Swords are anger and war. And then we have the 5 of Pentacles and the 5 of Cups, which are about grieving and being left out in the cold and being sick, right? So the victim and sadness, and then the anger of the victim, right? Feeling like someone's done them wrong. The anger that comes up from that. So it's just showing you when the changes come up is when the triggers come up, right? Because people are resisting change. They're not allowing the change. And here we are with the masculine, especially letting go of their victim of the 10 of Wands, letting go of the 9 of Wands to move forward with the 1 of Wands, the Ace of Flames, and the third energy as well. So at 4:31, Ascension came up and the word on. So again, that came up before, that it's on. I don't know if something's on that is bothering someone, it's making them cough. A lot of you may be turning your air conditioning on, so maybe you think it's you, and it might just be because you just turned your air conditioning on. Maybe you need to open the windows as opposed to the air conditioning. I actually have a little bit of sage going right now, which may be the reason why I'm actually coughing, but there's definitely a message there for you. So the 4, 5, 6 here is when the read was complete, and that's the 4D, 5D, 60 again. The 4 of the Emperor, the 56 of the 2 of Swords, which was the final card in the Union read. Here it's coming up again. And the major arcana in this read in front of you were the Reason, which is the Emperor, Indigo, which is the Magician, and Luna, the Moon, Ascension, which is the World. Before the read, because I always pull 5 cards on either end of the read, it makes it a 21 deck read, right? 21 is the World and completion. Before the read, Justice came up, as well as Guidance, which is the Hierophant, and the Lovers. And after the read, the Starseed and Higher Self came up. We had 2 swords, 1 pentacle, 3 cups, and 1 wand. So it's pretty well balanced. It's just more cups than anything, which is heart and emotion-based energies. And then we had 2 swords. So whenever emotions come up, you tend to get in your head a little bit. So it's pretty well balanced overall. And then we have the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords, like I told you before, which was on the clock as we started the read. It's 11:07 now, which is Justice and the Chariot. Chariot's the vehicle of ascension, of the masculine and the feminine. It was just 14 53 on here, which is the Temperance card, that higher love, and the 53 of the Knight of Swords, the messenger of truth. So Queen of Swords and Knight of Swords, and also the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups, and the King of Swords comes up before the read. So we have the King and Queen of and Knight of Swords, which can be a couple and their actions, or it can be siblings. It can just be all air signs. And then we have the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups, which is water signs. It's going to be 5 siblings too. 3 may be very air-oriented and 2 may be very cup-oriented, right? Or thoughts and words versus emotions and heart-based things. So we had the 44 is the main number in the read. 44 again is the mastering, grounding, and integrating of love, the 4 of Cups. It's also in the numerology book, that's also considered the number of Atlas. And Edgar Cayce, his my life lesson number is 44. So I know Edgar Cayce, his destiny is talked about in the numerology books. So his destiny number is 44. And we had the numbers 3 of the Empress, Gaia, and the coming together, the sibling energy, the happiness, the happy-go-lucky energy of joy. The 56 of the 2 of Swords, again, being in your knowing, to keep peace of mind. And then we had the King of Wands, the 8 of Wands, the 5 of Cups. Again, we brought that up. And then the 68 of the Page of Pentacles, which is that opportunity or invitation, and perhaps the good student, or the opportunity to research or learn. Someone who's curious about their abilities. The code line is all about the number 5, which is the Hierophant, or freedom, expansion, change. And then rebirth, which is very transformative and profound. And there's a lot about energy here in the 5 of Crystals, being left out in the cold or recovering from that. And that has to do with loss of money, being left out of the group. It has to do with illness and injury, which costs money, right? It makes you feel left out in the cold. Any kind of destitution, whether it's moral, spiritual, physical destitution, monetary destitution, and then energy, and how that drains your energy of being in the victim consciousness, right? So the messages here are kind of interesting here. The code line starts out with the DM, literally DM, and it's all about rebirth, and the number 5. So the Divine Masculine, expanding and contracting times 2, a lot of change here. And then the aid was coming up here. It's ADE, so it can be a girl's name, or it can be a drink with aid, but it also can be an aid, like someone helping you, or an aid, AID or AIDE, or ADDIE. And then the Sagittarius with SAG, or union here. So expansion of the crystals, which is also crystals, or being Christ-like, right? Being Christ on the cross, grieving, which is that sadness to the nth degree, the energy of rebirth. The Divine Masculine boasting or bragging, perhaps, without chivalry here, without God, or perhaps his past boasting or bragging was without God, or without being present within himself, about perhaps a Sagittarius, or about Saggy, which I always refer to God as, or about a union, okay? 2 out in the cold to the nth degree, regarding energy and rebirth, and the energy it takes to rebirth something like a child, right? The mother gets very slow and tired because she gains weight and she gets bigger. It's very hard to get around. And then finally, when you think you can't take anymore, then boom, right? The baby comes out, and then all of a sudden it's like you were never pregnant, right? So then also from the code line, dimethylformamide came up, which is a polar solvent, and dimethylfuran came up, which is a biofuel. So for those of you who are chemists or in that field, that might mean something to you, but it's about those 2 things expanding and contracting. And Odessa also came up, which has to do with to arrange or to shape using that tool, which is a right-angled blade, to be about to be consumed, about to be bitten or chewed up. Maybe someone's going to get chewed out. But then it was coming up around God's children to the nth degree regarding the energy of rebirth. So if you think it's bad rebirthing this, think how God feels having to birth all of you. It's a very funny message here. But God's children to the nth degree in the draining energy of rebirthing you all. And again, that goes back because you are the collective. The pain of your rebirth adds back into the collective again. And so think of how God feels. That was the joke they were making with me. So it was a pretty good one, actually. And the harmonic egg was coming up too again. I'd watched Elizabeth April talking about the harmonic egg and talking about it being connected to Sirius B technology, and that it's presently being used on the ships for cellular regeneration and reversal of aging and healing. But also Elizabeth talked about it being just something that gave her a lot of clarity, feeling that she had done a lot of her healing already, so she didn't need that so much as opposed to her psychic abilities. It gave her a lot of clarity when she experienced the harmonic egg, in case any of you are interested. So all about clarity, which is that 2 of Swords energy. So we start this read with the Knight of Swords upright, and at 549, which is again the 5 of the Hierophant, and the 49 of the 9 of Cups, being in self-love, right? Self-satisfaction, the Get Your Wish card. When you are in that energy, you pull that energy into yourself. And below the Knight of Swords upright was Justice from the bottom up, Justice reversed, Guidance reversed, which is the Hierophant, Lovers reversed, and then the King of Swords reversed, and then the 4 of Wands upright, the home or the union. The injustice of, or just no guidance in a breakup or lack of affection. The King of Swords reversed, which is in a negative aspect, right? He's either just in a really bad mood or lying to himself, or he could be silent, verbally abusive, or a chronic liar. So the King of Swords reversed at home with the Knight of Swords upright, or sending silent messages to the Queen of Cups who's upright, working to align with the 6 of Cups, right? The inner children or the outer children, or the past love, a past life connection perhaps, any kind of soul tie that's very loving, and the injustice of the Magi, or the Magician. The Magi manifesting separation or heartbreak or heart issues, and standing up to the 3 of Cups, the group, perhaps the group offering love to dying or exhausted Emperor upright, and then drops of Jupiter in his crown were coming up, and compassion, or the Emperor streaming 1111 and seeing his reflection plastered on the ceiling, or had an out-of-body experience, or perhaps a near-death experience here. So here's the Emperor waking up. The Knight of Swords upright, message to the Emperor, and the King of Cups reversed, moving to peace and saying perhaps so long, or Capricorn upright and Aquarius reversed, or waving goodbye or adios to him or to each other. The ball and chain stuck together, not heeding the call, choked or spoke too soon, or just made a bad call, and temptation arrived, right? It's that bad call, and it pulled back in their addiction or their codependency. You deserve love, but this is them seeing it, being aware of this happening. You deserve love, and beneath it, unrequited love. So first came the unrequited love, and that you deserve love for both the masculine and the feminine. The 2 of Swords reversed is that energy of new information coming in, which can knock you off balance and not have peace of mind. It's also clarity. It's like someone else trying to get someone to speak up, and they were like a vault, and finally they're opening up to talk. To the 10 of Cups reversed, unhappy family, or about their own lack of emotional fulfillment, or no longer willing to be the errand boy for the family, or no longer sitting on the fence. The Hermit missing his flame, in need of sunshine, or just drained, needing a fill-up. And again, that talks about my safety pin, where when the masculine's drained, the safety pin falls open again, which is the divine feminine side, filling the tank again with the sun and meditation, which then fills up the circle at the bottom of the pin, going into the masculine circle at the bottom of the pin, to the back of the pin, which is the masculine, and the top of the pin being the housing of them both, their connection, the grounding mechanism. So the legs losing circulation, and scissors magnet coin didn't work. No love fest on vacation, and starting over, but with no energy, maybe an energy draw or two around him. And again, we're talking about whenever someone's in victim mentality, that's an energy drain, right? This also can be anger. So victim or anger will draw energy from you. It's their way of stealing your energy. Or they saw, and they may not even realize what they're doing, or they saw lovers in the woods and wishes he were with his sunshine. So again, that's when you're seeing other couples around you, and then you wish that you had somebody too. So change is coming up, number 5, and beneath that was pride, which is number 19 in the sun. But the sun was reversed, so somebody could be sundowning as well. So that's part of the ascension symptoms. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just, it's the universe's way of knocking you out of your overthinking and your logical thinking to get you into your meditative heart thinking. So there could be people going through this process right now. So perhaps at war, again, the war is the conflict of the 5 of Swords and that 5 of Wands, protecting the secret passion, or needing to use their intuition and open their crown more, learning to go away from their logical mind into their heart mind. Okay, so not sleeping or thinking about a new life, inspired by the devil or the shadow on fire. And the Page of Swords message, perhaps from a Sagittarius reverse, or that could be from Saggy or God, or a fallen angel who's married or religious or part of an establishment, or a Taurus. Capricorn upright, Sag reversed, and Taurus upright here. Or the Page of Wands and the Page of Swords are up to no good, but they are upright, but they're kids. Or kids with Taurus or religious man or marriage, and Sagittarius reversed and or Capricorn upright are unable to sleep, perhaps because the kids are up at all hours doing things or making noise in the house. Hierophant sending a message to the Emperor about holding back judgment, an announcement, or a wake-up call. So it's like the Hierophant or a Taurus, the Emperor or an Aries, and this is also church and state, one telling the other to hold back an announcement or a final judgment or a wake-up call, or music in need of sun or vacation. Maybe they want to take a break first before they make this announcement, which then may cause a lot of work. A change of environment may be needed here. So the Knight of Wands, which can definitely be the one coming to the rescue, right? They're very passionate when they get going, moving. They love to be physical. The Knight of Wands rushing into the wounded warrior, right? The rescuer to save the victim. Or maybe they were too late, that the Magi already is manifesting, and maybe they were coming in to stop that manifestation. After this read will come up the energy of a new offer to disconnect or distance oneself. This can be a breakup or a disconnect of a partnership as well. A new offer, this could be a payoff, right, to pay off a contract, something like that. The injustice of new information that's now out there. And maybe now it gives someone a reason to want to let someone out of a contract because they don't want that influence on them. The Knight of Pentacles reversed, unable to function before dawn. And perhaps with patience, or to be patient, so someone doesn't like to get up really early. Or this also can be children are giving parents an issue about having to get up so early and before dawn. And this also can be to deal with patients, because of course hospitals always start really early in the morning, or to be a patient. So this could be the Knight of Pentacles reversed, unable to function before dawn with patience, or to be patient angel, or to be a patient perhaps and go in and have a test done. The recent past is indigo upright, manifesting a proposal perhaps. The 10 of Cups reversed, unhappy about an offer of love from a performing sovereign who's spreading the word about walking away, or the fool who's now free to leap away from the stubborn bull, or stuckness, or the inability to function, probably due to what's going on in their emotional life. But then that stops people from being able to function on a regular day-to-day basis. At 6:22 is the Lovers and the Fool with an open heart, taking a leap of faith. The Page of Cups is reversed and the Page of Wands is upright. They may be fighting or conflicted about reaping rewards of the sovereign. Again, this could be in coming together with the divine feminine. Maybe if a masculine has children, they may have issues with that. So the foundation here is this Queen of Swords presenting the truth and giving him no option but to study or to start something new, or have someone give advice about a plan or project or business and how to get started, or get the gold coin assessed for value. And there's definitely Virgo here. And remember, it's, of course, you're going to love your children and you want to do the best you can to make any kind of transition peaceful for them. But you have to remember not to allow them to run your life either. You're the parent who makes the decisions. And if people don't like us the way we are, even our children, then they have to fall away and be angry for a while. That doesn't mean you stop loving them or stop taking care of them. But when it's your children, it's more difficult, right? Because even when they hate us, we still are obliged to take care of them. So, and of course, we want to because we love them. But again, it's just bringing up the point that nobody has the right to take your authenticity away from you. And if they don't love you, then that's their issue, not yours. So you have to be true to yourself, even before your children's wants and needs. And this is a want and need, not a taking care of the child. Obviously, if it's a small child, you have to take care of them. The central energy is the reason, or the emperor, the logical man, with the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, destined to part or block the Fool. Gemini, Virgo, and Aries, and 2 to 4 kids or more with twins here. So this could also be twins coming together who may, one or both families may have children involved. But we have Gemini, Virgo, and Aries with 2 to 4 kids between them or more. And then it could be with the twins and their families or regarding twins. So somebody might have actual twin children. The challenge being the 5 of Pentacles upright, the Hermit in exile from the group in the Mary Magdalene cave, down with the group down below, right? The separation as you raise your vibration, and then feeling a disconnect from the group because they're still sitting on that lower vibration or that lower timeline. Not sleeping, rising above, awake, coming out, under the radar perhaps, feeling of failure, seeing synchronicities or options of an offer of a new life, and the Queen of Swords talking about it, just like I am. Sharing, being charitable, perhaps the philanthropist, or settling out and hanging out. Suffering in silence or dealing with a sister, purging, crying, stressed out, and the King of Pentacles reversed and the Divine Feminine in the 5D world. Or the King of Pentacles reversed and the world reversed, or with Pisces in chart is activated. And this can have to do with Chiron's return, which has been coming up this week. So, Chiron is the wounded healer. So when Chiron returns to your chart around age 50, your relationship with your parents comes up to be resolved. Okay? So fantasy is to find peace here at home and in union, to be present with secret passion, or that a secret is out, with the Empress upright presently working to align with the King of Wands upright, which is the shaman energy, with the Hermit advisor, seeing synchronicities of temptation waving. Okay, so, and again, that has to do with triggers. So you have to learn to be around temptation and not allow it to trigger you. And the movie I just watched about the politics was perfect because she had to go to court and take the fifth over and over and over again, and she finally got triggered into speaking, which then, pulled her into the whole case. But that's that same kind of energy. And so the temptation can be as little as something as that, is like feeding in to the trigger. So now is the Queen of Cups. And if you're triggered, there's nothing wrong with that. And certainly don't condemn yourself for that. Have compassion for yourself as well. But when you're triggered, instead of reacting, that's your trigger to walk away and go feel into it. What's it coming up from? What in your childhood, what in your past life was the entry wound for that? And why are you pulling this person in or this energy in? Because it's your subconscious energy going out and pulling this trigger in. It's not that they're trying to do something mean to you. It's your subconscious wanting you to see what's in there so that you can pull it up to your consciousness and then free it and let it go. And then you'll never pull that energy in again. So again, remember to be grateful for the triggers because it's showing you what to release so that you won't get that trigger anymore. The Queen of Cups is upright, sending a message from work perhaps, with unhappy family or an ending to an emotional cycle that's so overdone, or the workplace with the Queen of Cups reversed and the Hierophant standing up to the unhappy family. Now the Queen of Cups is reversed right here, but she's upright in the rest of the read here. The Page of Wands is inspired here by the Queen of Cups, and that could be a child and a Queen of Cups, could be their teacher or anyone, or this could be a relationship where the masculine energy feels very childlike or like a teenager again when they're around the Queen of Cups. Caught with their pants down or in the woods or caught in the weeds, perhaps a pain in the ass, the Hierophant reversed, or a painful divorce or a break from a spoiled Taurus or a child of divorce who's acting up, or a sudden rejection destined at home or in union. And this is the perfect time if kids are acting up for any reason. It doesn't have to be divorce. Anything that they don't like and they start acting out because of it. It can be, finding out they're adopted. It can be finding out anything that can be traumatic for a child, and allowing them to go through that discomfort, but not allowing them to take it out on anyone. And that's a perfect forum for teaching them this information. The Taurus reversed, Scorpio upright, and Libra upright, and Pisces reversed, or divine feminine, the 5D, with narcissistic Hierophant, or marriage or reunion with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or there could be 2 Queen of Pentacles here. And again, when we're talking about narcissism, we're talking about the tarot sexual magic. The Hierophant card is very narcissist. He looks like he's an old man who's a muscle builder with 2 girls in his arms, and he looks like he's in an Alzheimer's facility, right? So it's this very negative energy who's aging. But under the radar, the energy vampire here, reaping rewards of deception, or getting up before dawn to drive or travel or hold on to the King of Swords reversed, who's in a negative energy here. The Magi, who's hangry. Maybe they've just been eating vegetarian and they really want meat. So that can even be as simple as that. Like one person in the relationship's vegetarian, the other one's not. But the vegetarian's forcing the other one to be vegetarian, as opposed to allowing them to be themselves and do it in their own time. Maybe they'll be vegetarian one day, but it's not up for you to tell them to do that. The King of Wands upright with Hermit, with synchronicities of Capricorn, or an addiction, or a chained connection, where both are on a leash. Soon here is the Knight of Cups reversed, which can just be someone feeling rejected. It can be a child or an adult, but someone feeling rejected. It also can be someone who's jealous or moody, or it can be someone who's insincere all the time, who's a schmoozer, who kisses up to people to get them to do what they want. They smile and they make them believe that they love them so that they'll do whatever they want, and then they don't really give a crap about any of them. It's just for them to get what they want. So it depends on your situation. It can be as simple as a moody kid. They may be feeling rejected or jealous or holding back true feelings. They may be sad or guilty, with the Knight of Wands coming to the rescue and the Queen of Swords talking about it. The Knight of Wands satisfied, right? Remember, that's the polarity. The one who rescues is the savior mentality. And you can't have a savior without a victim. You can't have a perpetrator without a victim. So there it becomes the victim in the middle, the monkey in the middle, to do the turn, right? So when you turn, you pull the polarities in. And so there's not so much polarity anymore. When the victim is able to see a new perspective and not be the victim anymore. And then all of a sudden, the polarities go away. The perpetrator and the savior go away. And then Jesus gets to just be at the table with you breaking bread instead of having to hang on a cross, which he doesn't want to be seen that way. The Knight of Wands satisfied, and Spirit's connecting with me. The Knight of Wands satisfied star in separation, or with a broken heart, divorcing or breaking contract, religion establishment, or hanging up a shingle, which can be closing a business or could be opening a business as well. Depends on your situation. So Sagittarius upright, Aquarius upright, and Taurus reversed here. The twin flames here, seeing themselves as the Six of Wands reversed, which can be feeling like a failure, right? Feeling like they're unsuccessful, whether it's because of a business or a marriage or anything that they failed at. We're never failing, we're experiencing the journey. And the most successful people will always tell you that their failures were their biggest opportunities to learn something they never would have learned otherwise. That got them to where they were going. So it's never to blame yourself for failing or being a failure. You're calling yourself names. You shouldn't call yourself or anyone names. You should need to have compassion for yourself and know that it's a gift. You may not see it right now, but it's showing you a path in order to get to that higher place for you. So the Six of Wands reversed can also be doing things under the radar, which means being sneaky or lying. Even little white lies are still lying. Energy can't lie. When you're doing things under the radar, it will make you drained. It drains your energy. Drained, jealous, rejected. There may be a rejection here, feeling moody or insincere, and trapped or in prison. So you may be imprisoning yourself by doing things that are sneaky or under the radar, thinking it's no big deal. The patient angel without affection from the King of Wands, shaman, who's upright here, but he's also in need of courage to start over. Or maybe feeling weak and starting over with the Queen of Wands reversed, who may not be sleeping, or she may be sick. It can just be a cold, or she's pissed off and rising above anxieties or feeling imprisoned here. And this can be both, except the King of Wands is upright and the Queen of Wands is reversed. 645 is the Lovers and the Five of Cups, that grieving card. Needing to get over it, get over the past. Getting over any kind of grief is always getting over the past, because the grief is always in the past. The expression of love here, and then separation and past life relationship all come up here. Around the twins, or how they're seen, is the moon or Luna reversed. So lunacy can come up here. Deception, up before dawn, frustrated, not amused, with new information about the Empress upright and the wounded warrior, right? Here's the savior and the victim, the mother and the child, right? The Empress who wants to have all the power and the money, right? The matriarch of the family, and then the wounded warrior who's the child who she wants dependent on her so that she can have the power. Coming together, so then she becomes the savior and the perpetrator, and then the child being the victim. Coming together, and this could be a grown child, doesn't have to be a young child, coming together or drinking again in secret, and this could be someone also passing down their own addictions, or coming together in a secret society. And this could be a women's group or coven. It can be something positive, but it was coming up with a tainted energy here. So there definitely could be some kind of secret society, group, or coven going on here. Or the wounded warrior guarding a group, right? So remember, they're the victim of the Empress. Someone forced into a situation that's not authentic to them, guarding a group who may be stealing or cheating others here. Okay, you see where it goes here? So they may look like a good group, but they may be doing something very dark or just something very limited, but it's not fully honest. All right, so here's someone being pulled in to guard the group because you feel obligated to them because they're your mother or your grandmother or your aunt or your relative or a boss, right? That you'll lose your job if you don't do this. And are you being authentic to yourself, or are you doing something that's lying? This is about coming fully clean and being your true authentic self and stepping up to the plate. If you lose your job because someone's trying to get you to do something illegal, then you need to leave that job. It's not easy, is it? But it will take you into a better energy, which will guide you to the right place. Or the wounded warrior is sick of being a bouncer. So somebody might be doing that job right now. And the bouncer can be literally a bouncer of a club, but also can be a bouncer of the family, right? It could be an assumed position, right? So it could be a madam here too, running numbers or running tricks. The challenge being the Three of Cups, about coming together after all the hard work and separation and still feeling left out in the cold. And again, this isn't about judging anyone. It's just about the energies that are coming up here. We've all been in these situations, both sides. In our DNA, we go back at least 14 generations. We hold all of the wounds of 14 generations, which means you've been on both sides of the coin. You've been the perpetrator and the victim and the savior. You've been the murderer and the murdered. You've been the rapist, you've been the raped. Okay, so this is coming up for the collective to be resolved. This is the rebirthing process, which is coming up here, the rebirth. And beneath it, the financial discipline. Okay, fending off unwanted advances with little lizard watching. So there could be kids watching. And so you feel like you're obligated to hug your ex, even though you don't want to hug them. Don't be dishonest. You're putting off that lying energy to the kids, and they feel it. Even if you're trying to hide it, you can't, because it's energetic. They may have no idea why they're feeling bad about something or not trusting you, but it's because you're putting off an energy of a situation that's a big lie. And then the children end up paying for it because they get really drained, or they get confused. They don't know why they're upset about something. Or maybe they just feel like not doing anything because they feel paralyzed, just like you do. When you get anxiety or fear, or you're upset emotionally about a relationship, you become paralyzed by your passions or paralyzed by your emotions. So the Page of Cups is reversed here, coming up, done trying to express themselves. Like, this is the child who doesn't know how to express their emotions, which is normal. They're a child. Or this can be an adult who hasn't dealt with their emotions and doesn't know how to express their emotions. And it's like they're giving up trying to express themselves because nobody listens anyway. The world reversed with the Two of Cups reversed in disconnect or at a distance, in the never-ending story, in the present of happiness, or in the pursuit of happiness. The Two of Cups reversed, the disconnect or being at a distance, in the never-ending story, in the pursuit of happiness. No longer being an island to yourself, traveling or moving and grounding with the King of Swords reversed, receiving a big download to the crown, the starseed with a fresh new start, or a walk-in to align at the E-Tower with new information and clarity about secret passion or the need to use their intuition and be present. And also, guys, don't be afraid of the term walk-in, because it can just represent a higher aspect of yourself that now intervenes and comes into yourself in order to take over, because your lower version of yourself wasn't able to heed the call. So it's like a higher aspect of yourself comes in. So the Knight of Swords upright and the Queen of Swords upright here, under the radar deception of the indigo and the Emperor, or the logical man, the challenge being the Hermit in exile in a higher frequency, and the Knight of Cups reversed coming together with the Queen of Cups in an upside-down world, or the Divine Feminine in the 5D, or in hopes of completing their world or their cycle, getting off the island for a fresh new start, working with crystals at the E-Tower with clarity about how to use their intuition and the secret passion. So it's like the masculine coming forward to get help on how to do this kind of stuff. The King of Swords reversed may be home with the Knight of Swords upright, indigo, Hierophant, and the Queen of Swords with the Emperor, and the Queen of Cups upright. So there's a lot of people here. The King of Swords and the Knight of Swords could be a father and son. The father is in a negative aspect, home together, perhaps with an indigo child, right? And that may be a handful, because they may be very energetic. And then the Hierophant, which can be a marriage or a Taurus person or an establishment. Maybe you have a family business type of relationship. So it can be an establishment or a religious leader. Maybe you have a religious leader in your family. And then the Queen of Swords with the Emperor. So we have a King and Queen of Swords and a Knight of Swords all together. And then an Emperor and a Hierophant, which again can be church and state, or they can be church and state within your own family and the war around that. And then the Queen of Cups upright and challenged by the Hermit in exile. Under the radar, the Knight of Cups deception or lunacy, finding joy in reunion with the Divine Feminine in 5D, perhaps swimming to shore. And here's about, the land and sea coming together, right? Where the water hits the shore, which is the wave landing on the shore, swimming into the shore off the island, with a big bomb dropped to plant seeds at the E-Tower with clarity, but a bit off. Again, off balance with that Two of Swords in a secret passion and being in the present moment and rebalancing themselves at 658, which is the Lovers, and the Four of Swords, which is the 5D connection. Okay? So this is all about the Lovers and their 5D connection and learning how to get balanced again in your knowing, but not lying, right? So pretending not to know is lying, right? It doesn't mean you have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about, but if you're keeping secrets, right, it's an omission. It's still a lie. It's not being truly, if you hold things in that give you negative energy, how is that being authentic to yourself? It's not. It's not freeing yourself. Anything authentic to yourself is going to make you feel free. Just like when there's a lie, or a truth. When you speak a truth or you talk about something and it makes you feel stressed, well, that may be a negative energy around the topic that you're talking about. But when you feel truth about it, all of a sudden you take a deep breath in and you relax, because you know it's authentic to you. Okay? So you might want to practice that as well. All right, so let's go ahead and pull some oracle cards. First, let's pull a card from the Animal Spirit deck. It's 4925, which is the Get Your Wish card, and the Knight of Wands, which is that get up and go energy of the Knight of Wands. Not necessarily coming into the rescue, but the one who can help you light a fire under your butt, because they naturally are energized and they love doing things. And also, when you move, It releases the stuck energy centers in your body. So that's why it's so important to do some kind of exercise. You don't want to just have your body still all the time, because all those pent up negative energies can get stuck in you and pull you in a negative direction here. All right, so for the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guidebook, what is, take a deep breath. What is the takeaway from this twin flame read today? Okay. All right, we have two cards that came out, the fish and the wolf. And hold on one second. Oh, the scorpion wants to be seen too, but he's separate. He's staying away. He's plotting. Okay, and the bottom of the deck is the tiger. And the tiger is a feminine energy. It's actually a very beautiful energy. But the fish is kind of, the fish needs to learn to be still, because the fish is all over the place. They can't stop. And the wolf is looking at the fish like they're crazy. Because the wolf came up the other day as being in the present moment. And remember, the wolf is part of a wolf pack. He expects the whole pack to do what they want them to do. And that can't work either, right? Your children have to be their own authentic selves. So they're both learning different lessons. The fish is learning to be still and pay attention to their body, what it's telling them. And then the wolf needs to let go of other people having to do what they say. But it's really funny, because the wolf is thinking that the fish is crazy. And it could be like a wolf standing at the side of a water, you know, a lake or something, and sees this fish there. And the fish is hiding underneath. So we have water energy and earth energy, which do go together well. But it's like the wolf being very patient until the fish comes up to the surface. And maybe this fish is just not coming up. And the wolf is like, really? I thought this was going to be an easy fishing day. This is really funny energy. And then we got the scorpion. They don't know that the scorpion's off to the side here, right? The scorpion stinger is poisonous, right? This is very, they like to be by themselves, right? They're very polarized. They want to attack. They get triggered very easily. So I'm going to give you some brief energy around these different animals. So the tiger is the underlying energy into the lunar force, and we just had the full moon. The ease in the darkness, the feminine energy. The tiger hunts at night, at one with the silence, fearing nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. And when those anxiety feelings coming up, no, it's not you fearing it. It's the collective energy. It could be your divine masculine or your divine feminine feeling that energy, but it's still your responsibility to transmute this energy. And this came up in a session the other day too, that we were talking about that. So sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour, the 11th hour, and the tiger takes advantage of these boons. Spend some time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There's nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. So when you're in balance, passionate, strong, and sensual. When you're out of balance, you're overstimulated. So you need to ground yourself again. And here it says for the tiger to candle gaze. So literally stare into the flame over there. It's right in front of the cards, right here. So that's the underlying energy. And then we have the fish and the wolf and the scorpion off to the side. So I'm going to tell you the fish and the wolf first. All right, the fish is restless with change of focus, lost in the current. The fish loves to be subsumed in life's current. Nothing pleases it more than movement, movement, movement. The roaming lifestyle of the fish may be exhilarating for a while, but usually leads to weariness and slippery relationships. It reminds me of Arizona. Living in Arizona, it's, you know, people are so friendly out there, but when you live there for a long time, or at the time, this was 30 years ago, or 40 years ago, actually. When I was in school in Arizona, I felt initially that everybody was really friendly, and I was so excited for that energy. But then you realize it was a very transient energy that people are just passing through, and it was very hard to find people that you could trust. Because either they were your friend one minute and not your friend the next, or they were passing through and they literally left, you know, because it's college also, which people come and go all the time. But this energy coming up is reminding me of that. With all the possibilities out there in the vast waters, the fish becomes lost without clear goals and intentions. Spending some time with the lunar forces, dear fish, as the peace and calm of the moon will soothe your soul. When in balance, adaptable and travels well. Out of balance is distracted and changes their mind frequently or often. And then to bring back into balance, the fish needs to set a small goal and accomplishment so it doesn't feel overwhelming. So what also I'm remembering about that, the transientness of being in Arizona at the time, I would say that, because I'm from the Philadelphia area, the Philadelphians may be really grumpy, but at least they stick around and you know that they're loyal to you, which was the comparison there at the time. Very interesting that that comes up. All right, so the wolf here, the wolf. The wolf is the guardian of the family and tribe, activism and ritual. The wolf's mission is to uphold the well-being and longevity of the pack. Healthy wolf energy expresses itself through activism and mentorship. Again, teaching others by being an example, humanitarian efforts, or teaching, religious or political studies. The wolf gets into trouble when it assumes that every member of the tribe must follow suit. This includes children walking in their parents' footsteps. Although it will surely be uncomfortable at first, practicing tolerance helps balance out agitated wolf energy. Contemplate the following: embrace all, exclude none. But that doesn't mean they have to be under your power and do what you say. When in balance, reliable, democratic, and fearless, which is great, but when they're out of balance, they can be judgmental and dominating and wanting to take over. So for the wolf energy, they need to practice letting go. Right? So the fish has to stop for a minute and make a small goal, and the wolf has to chill out and practice letting go. Okay? And then we have the scorpion, which is fire. All right, scorpion is passionate, competitive, and tends towards isolation. The scorpion is a passionate and determined creature. Their career is very important to them, as are a few select friends. Sometimes the scorpion's heat festers and they focus on unresolved event from the past. Usually a situation where they were left feeling burned. The scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal and you can get back to your usual, your fiery but fun self. When in balance, they're wild and free but fierce. When out of balance, they're jealous, resentful, and unresolved. And to come back into balance, need honesty and forgiveness here. And remember that when you're, this came up this week too, when you're suspicious of someone else, change your perspective, because that's fear. So if you're suspicious of someone else or you're in lack of trust, it's really you not trusting yourself to be able to deal with the situation at the present moment. You want to stay in the present moment, so it's come back to yourself. Do you trust you to do the right thing in the present moment? Right? Staying present means walking away when things doesn't serve you. And if you're in that balanced energy of that high vibration, the Scorpio won't come into your energy as that scorpion energy, or the scorpion wanting to sting you, or the wolf wanting to dominate you, or the fish wanting to avoid you, right? Because they just go, go, go. All right, so that's coming up from that deck. And then let's pull from the Journey of Love. And I'm going to get a few more signs done today after this as well. It's at the 11th hour right now. It's 59, 33, 34. And we have 11:52 on the clock. So the Queen of Swords is significant here. She's coming up again with truth and justice. And from the Journey of Love, what is our takeaway here? It came right out. Self-initiation. Okay, 12 is the wisdom. It's the hangman, hanging out to see a new perspective. And again, not needing someone to light a fire under your butt, or not needing someone else to tell you to see a new perspective, but being present in the moment and always doing it on your own, right? It's the same card as the back of the deck, okay? And this is like coming full circle. It's like you completed the deck. That's pretty significant here. Self-initiation, that you can do it. You don't need the guidance now. You know what to do. We have the 60. The 60 was the union card number, or the union read number. Riding the cosmic wave. It's saying you can do it. And here's the wave, right, hitting the shore. Land and sea, of the masculine and feminine, both becoming the other as well, right? The masculine bringing in more emotion, the feminine bringing in more stability and land, or the pentacles energy, and finding peace, riding the wave. Okay? The 12 of wisdom and the 60 of peace, peaceful travels. And that's like two people, both in the same energy. Only one is more red and gold and orange, and the other one is the upper chakra system, the feminine and the divine masculine. How beautiful is that? And look at the bottom of the deck. 3 to 1, standing in the vortex. The 10 of a turn for the better, that it is destined. And look how peaceful it is there. Okay? Right? The self-initiation, riding the cosmic wave, and then being in the vortex, 3 to 1, with the third energy. There's always a third energy that will come into play, and that's the key word, play. Loving all that is under 3 to 1. There's this very loving embrace of the 22, the fool with an open heart, taking a leap of faith, coming into the vortex here, into the present moment. And these two want to be seen as well. As I cough again, the 66 of the Queen of Pentacles and the 69 of the Ace of Pentacles. What? This is being very grounded in a new start, a new beginning, and in deep contemplation about it, coming together. And this is very much the energy of the feminine, in deep contemplation about coming together again and being very balanced, offering a new life, time, money, and effort, and what that actually means. This is a very grounded, reality-oriented energy here, 1155, which is justice and the truth, the Excalibur here, right? Realizing the reality of the situation and coming into union, what it really means, the time, money, and effort involved, the Excalibur, the wounding that needs to be healed, right? So the work that needs to be done. But here's the energy of the two. Come together right now over me. So, yeah. Oh, look at that. I want to show you the next card. So after the coming together of those two beautiful energies of the upper chakra and the lower chakra, and then the coming together here of blending of those upper and lower chakras, and then the deep contemplation of the new start and the divine feminine, the bride offers herself, 43, and coming together. Look how beautiful that is. Man of the earth, woman of the sky is the next card. 48 is the walking away within. And a blending of all the colors. And the becoming, knowing that it's a journey. The back and forth dance of the energy, the 8 of Wands. That it's a beautiful painting you're going to create together. As the 52, I just said it was important, the Queen of Swords, as the ancient ones. And there's the divine feminine out collecting more sun. And there are all the ancients there, right there with her, as she collects the energy. So much feminine energy coming up. The beauty of the connection, the beauty sleep of the 4D and meditating together. And then the pearl threaded, that we are all connected, the 38 of the Queen of Cups. Very feminine energy, but just remember it's the 3, 2, 1 jump into the present moment, the vortex, the 0 point, and a turn for the better, which is destiny. Really beautiful cards there. Okay, are we done? No. I'm being guided to do a Gilded Reverie card. Okay. And then this will be the last one. So let's see what the Gilded Reverie is coming up at. This is the Lenormand Gilded Reverie. All right. For the Twin Flames, last card. It's 11:58 on the clock. It's funny because this was at the 11th hour on this clock, and now the actual clock is at the 11th hour because it's 11:58. Take a deep breath. Oh, 3 cards came up. Oh, they weren't meant to be upside down, but maybe she is. The 29 is the 3 of Wands, is the past. This could be somebody who's now in the past, a woman. And then the 34 of the Fish reversed. And then the Compass, which is upright, the true north. And we just dealt with the fish who need to stop. So now they're upside down, the dead fish in the water. Spirit's really funny. We'll get back to that in a second. I'll actually read you something. The underlying energy is the 44 again, right? The mastering, grounding, integrating of love. And this has all 4 of the suits here. And the magnifying glass. Okay, to look closely. And again, there's a feminine energy, 29, in the past. And this is coming up as the Ace of Cups, all right, reversed. So it's a breakup or somebody being dumped. And there's a fish right dead in the water. So again, the fish that came up with the animal spirit deck is stopping dead to connect with their, right, with their body and learn that. And then we have the compass. And I talked about letting go of the Sagittarius. That's funny, the South Node, and to follow your true north. So I'm going to read you. I'm going to read you the magnifying glass. And so, no, that's not that. Okay, and 44 came up with Casey today too. So the magnifying glass, I am the card that suggests you take a closer look or 2. If you did not get clarity from an earlier view, I can provide more focus and perspective that is new. This card suggests you need to take a closer look at a current issue. And it was reiterating the fish, especially, and a female. Now is the time to focus, scrutinize, and analyze. You might be overlooking something that isn't apparent or even visible. The smallest details may be vitally important. Use the magnifying glass to help you investigate and uncover more information that could lead you to greater clarity. Inner reading, the card to the left is what it seems like before taking a closer look. The card to the right suggests what will be brought to the light after a closer look. So there was nothing to the left, only to the right, because that was the underlying energy. So the other cards were all going to the right. So to the right suggests what will be brought to light after a closer look. Okay? Which are the cards that came up. So these will come to light after a closer look. Your true north, and the fish, and the feminine dead in the water. I don't know if that's a Pisces energy there. This card can also be a warning that all is not what it seems at first. Be careful to read the fine print. If this card appears with the letter 27, the book 26, or the ring 25, it may mean you have to examine document, contract, information, or commitment more carefully, which those didn't come up here. And near the clouds, which is number 6, which didn't come up, a card nearby reinforces the idea that things are still murky, and this card might also suggest a financial audit or legal investigation. In the realm of emotional issues, the magnifying glass suggests a preoccupation. You may be focusing on something too much. Your obsessive thinking might be what's obscuring your clarity. Okay, well, that makes sense. Okay, so now I want to read the 29 of the woman. So that was reversed. I don't usually do these reversed, but I guess I shuffled them the wrong way. So it's meant to come up reversed. And this is called, there's 2 ladies here. one is a lady with a rose or a flower, and this is not her. All right, so this is what she looks like here. Okay, she doesn't have the flower. She's looking out the window. And she is lady number 2. I could be you, the reader, or the female subject of your reading or female partner. As with the second man, the expanded Reverie deck includes an additional lady card. This vision shows a powerful and elegant woman looking out of a window to the right of the card. She has a draped red robe between her breasts as she clutches the feminine symbol of Venus. The light shines through the window, emphasizing her strong features. She is the embodiment of the feminine power. But this is reversed, so it means there's a lack of power in this feminine energy here. And next to it is the fish. And that has to do with love, too, because it's the ace. Heart. Oh, it's swords, actually. Is that the heart or sword? I think it's the spade, not the heart. So it's actually the ace of spades. So there's a split or a lie there. And then we have the fish with the King of Pentacles, which is number 34, which is that energetic exchange. So the fish says, I bring plenty and abundance. Remember, this was reversed too. I deal in commerce and sales. I advocate independence and promote self-reliance and trade. Water expansion and flow is my department. Be careful not to tip the scales between tipsy and loaded. You don't want to end up dizzy and bloated. Okay, and this is reversed, so they're not doing well in those areas. The fish of the Lenormand symbolizes resources and money. The 3 fish here in the blue depths show that we can dive deep to gather in food in abundance. In some traditions, the card also symbolizes wealth. So when it appears, it teaches us to make the most of resources that we possess. In modern parlance, it means speculate to accumulate, or making a little go a long way. The exact meaning is dependent on the cards around it. Okay, so this has to do with abundance and finances, but they're both reversed, right? So this is some kind of breakup or split, or a lack of power, and this is a lack of abundance because a need to follow your true north. So I think this one is important to read as well if you want to hang in there. So we have the compass there, number 42. And that one says, I am here to help you find your way. And this is upright. If there's a journey to be taken or a choice to be made, I can provide you with directions and a path so you don't stray. The compass card is an indicator of the direction one is meant to go. It can represent someone or something that provides guidance and helps direct you toward a goal. The card urges you to examine the point or the focus of your undertaking. Look where the needle is pointed. Other nearby cards may provide insight as to your direction and your destination. Whether you're facing the mountain, which is 21, or the choice, which neither came up here, you need to stop and get your bearings and make a plan. This card advises you to not proceed blindly without direction. Know where you're going, but also why you're going and what you expect to find. The compass card represents the many things that can guide you on your path. The card's a reminder to notice and heed the signs and symbols you might see along the way. Pay particular attention to the cards that relate to travel and movement, such as the rider, the ship, and the stork. The compass may also point to feedback other people offer you. Listen to your gut and determine who might be your true north and those who might be too eager to give advice and seek control. You can listen to other suggestions, but you do not always have to follow it. Look to the key and the stars for further clarity and guidance, which none of those cards came up with the compass because you know what that all means, right? And it's not pointing to anything, any cards that came out here. But it's kind of on an angle. So in the reed, it's pointing towards the corner over here, the ending of the reed, and the numerology cards, and the south is, pointing towards the beginning of the reed, which is the old. So it's like it's just saying, let the old go and let the new come in. And this is, again, a split, a divide, a lack of power, right? Because you feel like that when you're in those situations. And then here's a lack of abundance with the fish reversed. But also we're talking about the fish. This was significant for the fish in this deck because it was about too much movement, and this is about coming up dead in the water. You don't want to be either, but you do want to slow down so that you can feel what you're feeling. Okay. And remember, and also there are 3 cards that came out. So actually the fish who won't stop could be this feminine energy in a split. The fish upside down, because both of them are reversed, the fish upside down can represent the wolf who needs to take a second look, right, about the kids and stuff. And then we have the scorpion here, you know, which always does what they want no matter what, because they are their true selves, even though they might sting a bit, right? So he's showing you how to follow your true north. Sometimes it might hurt other people's feelings for you to be your authentic self. But that's why it's so important to do it with love. Okay, make sure you drink your water so you connect well. Make sure you get your rest so you are sleeping beauty and you feel good about yourself. Make sure you get your joy and you ground in nature and feel the energy. Really be present to the energy you feel when you touch the tree or you touch the grass or you talk to a flower or some people passing by or pets that you like to say hi to. Feel their energies. Really practice doing that. And as always, rise and be love. It's just 1551, which again is the 51 and 52 coming up with swords. Rise and be love, guys. I'll see you soon. Have an amazing day. Bye.